The night before Jesus went to the cross of Calvary was one of the most awful nights in all of human history. At first, Jesus was betrayed by one of his disciples, Judas, into the hands of the religious rulers who had hated him these past 3 years. Then Jesus was condemned by a mock trial, false witnesses brought against him, lies told about him, his name defamed and smeared, and the man who had done nothing wrong in his entire life was condemned by an open court. But worse than being betrayed or even condemned was the fact that Jesus was denied by one of his closest friends. Peter, the leader of the disciples, had followed Jesus from a distance. And Jesus was taken into this courthouse, and Peter stood in the open courtyard, warming himself by the fire. Just then, a lowly servant girl, probably just a teenager, maybe not even, she came and asked Peter, Peter, I can hear your accent. You're one of Jesus' disciples, aren't you? You're from Galilee like him. No, said Peter, I'm not. And then she came back. No, I've seen you. I've seen you before. I've seen you with Jesus. You are one of his followers, aren't you? No, said Peter, I'm not. A third time she asked him, and this time Peter swore, he cursed. He didn't even know Jesus, he claimed. Imagine how Jesus must have felt, betrayed, falsely condemned, and now denied by one of his closest friends. But the Bible tells us that from across the courtyard, Jesus caught Peter's eye. And this look moved Peter to bitter tears. What did Jesus do? Did he look in an accusatory kind of way at Peter? Was his look one of disappointment? It was a look of love. A look of love. And you see, that tells us something about Jesus. Jesus is full of grace. Jesus is full of forgiveness. Jesus is full of mercy. You see, in just a few hours, Jesus was going to go to the cross, and there he was going to die for the sins of all those who are trusting in him. People like Peter, letdowns, failures, deniers. That's what Christians are. People who let Jesus down all the time, but people who have put their faith in Jesus to forgive their sins. And what we have found is that Jesus is a forgiving God. I wonder if you have discovered that for yourself. Perhaps you think, you don't know me, you don't know my life, you don't know the sorts of things I've done, you don't know how bad I am. But I want to tell you, there's nothing worse than denying Jesus, and yet here was Jesus looking at love with Peter across the courtyard, because Jesus came to forgive sin, because Jesus is full of grace.